record. All right. I'm very excited about this month. Water, my favorite. I kind of had a few things I wanted to talk about with the water piece of it before we begin. And I kind of was thinking about when I first started painting water. It's hard, right? It's moving. Most of the time it's moving. And so how do you capture that? So there's something to just keep in the back of your mind. We have the still water, which we're going to be kind of painting today, the marsh. And then we also have moving water, which is like rivers and streams or waterfalls. And so with what we're painting today, like marshes, a lot of times it's kind of a slow tidal change. And so we're not going to really see the ripples in the water per se. Maybe like on a lake where you're going to have more wind blowing, you're going to see those ripples. But like on a marsh, it's very generally flat, and you're going to have more reflective of the sky. And so when we're painting, I kind of wrote down here that the water is going to be more saturated, meaning it's going to be darker than your sky. It's going to reflect what's in the sky, but it's going to be a little bit darker generally in our reflections. So today with our marsh, just keep that in your mind. Also, water lays flat, okay? When we go to paint water, I know it's something that you see a bend, like here on this photo, you see the bends, and maybe you want to, let me grab a piece of paper and draw it like this, like a curve. Can you see that? But you can't draw the water like this or draw it like this. It wouldn't look normal. We want to draw every bend flat angled like this, okay? So when we're looking at drawing the water, we're going to draw out the banks and focus on the banks. So if the banks came out like this and like this, we're going to connect them, okay? We're going to connect like this, where the water. So we're going to be focusing on the banks right here as we're sketching out. So see this, and it will create that water, that pathway. So just something to keep in mind when we're laying out our water. Let's see. I made a note about, let's see. I made notes about like the rippling water and the moving water, and I'm gonna have us paint like a stream. I'm gonna have us paint maybe like a waterfall, so you get an idea of how to handle all these different types of waters and how we paint the underpainting and then create that movement on top. It's a lot like painting the wave with the moving water. With the marsh, we're gonna really deal with the reflections of the grass and the sky today. So does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Let's get started then. I'm going to give Molly here a little something. This is UART 400, and I'm just going to go ahead and sketch out with a blue spruce, like a new pastel, navy. And one thing we kind of need to do, especially with our horizon, is get somewhat of a straight line. So I'm going to kind of just estimate here and sketch in a line for my horizon. And we're just going to go in here and mask in some shapes. And notice where the tree's sitting, okay? We know this tree here on the right-hand side is farther down. It probably sits about right here. And then look at where this tree is sitting. And let me do a brighter color because I know that's hard to see. So we really are paying attention to where it sits. Okay. To our horizon. And these are all lines. If you can just picture lines, okay, when we're talking about banks and how we're going to draw this, okay? See those lines? Here's another line, here's another line, and line. And we're going to connect these lines to create our waterway.
What color is that, Marie?
This is just a navy new pastel, and then I've got my colors here that I'm going to probably use for the underpainting on this a little bit. Let me take a picture, and I'll show you what the blue looks like. So here's this line, okay? Here's this line. Almost right across from each other. This line. These are the edges of the banks. And I know this seems kind of strange. I think this comes down just a little bit. I'm kind of at an angle here. Okay. Got the base of this tree. Okay. And this is how we're just going to connect. And we've got these limbs off here to the side. I'm going to put them in. I thought about taking them out, but it kind of helps your eye not go off the side of the page. And that's something we can develop as we get into the painting. And then we've got some grasses over here. Okay, I'm going to go in with my darkest darks. And I'm going to use the pastels that I just sent you, the hard pastels. This is going to be for the underpainting. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, so remember, our darkest darks are vertical planes, anything that's vertical. So a tree, a mountain, those usually are our darkest planes. So I'm going to go and use my dark purple, and I'm going to come in here and my tree. And I'm going to come down here too. And we've got some dark over here. It's kind of light. I'll add some right in there. And then, let's see. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to use some mid-tone orange. Does anyone know why I chose orange for an underpainting? So one
Because
thing,
blue and orange,
yeah,
blue and orange, some, oh, how do you call it? Supplementary, right?
complementary. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yes. And also we have a lot of green in this painting, this picture. And it's nice to have a little bit of warmth to it, right? To make it more interesting than, I think if we just had it all green, it would be quite boring. So I'm using a lighter orange for the sky. And so I personally like having a more interesting painting. And so that's kind of why, yeah, why I chose that. This is a almost like a red maroon color, and I just drew in a little bit down in the bottom. And I'm going to come back in maybe with what do I want? A little light on the tree. Okay. Bring a little bit down the grasses. And I think we're ready. Okay. Go ahead and send over your block in here so I can see. Don't be afraid to put down pastel. I mean, I kind of put a lot more into the sky and the water. And for this instruction, I'm doing more of an impressionist style. So I'm using, it might be maybe considered more abstract in a way. I'm not going to be, again, painting every leaf. This picture is more about the water, and we know that because the horizon is pushed up higher, right? If it was more of the sky, we would have dropped the horizon lower. So this is all about the water and the reflections of those grasses. And so we want to add interest to it, which is why that orange is going to be so nice in it, and the purple is going to really brighten it up and add way more interest than if I were to just go straight into the green. And I'll send this over. Yeah, perfect. Good, Jeannie.
Are we going to alcohol it?
Yep, I'm going to do alcohol. You can do water if you'd like. You can even just do a dry rub if you want instead. I have no problem with that. Whatever your heart's desires today. The base of this is really just to get a nice out of focus toned paper that we're creating a map. We're saying, okay, here's my lightest lights, here's my darkest darks, and it's giving you that direction of where you want to build from. So some people say, why do an underpainting? Why do you need to do that? Well, I think it adds so much more vibrancy and interest to our paintings than if we just were to go in with a blank sheet of white paper and add a green over it. It just doesn't vibrate. It's just not very interesting. So I I've been taught this way and I prefer this. Of course, you know, the journey of you learning how to do this art is just finding your way in your process, and me showing you what I can teach you, and then you get to add your spin. Good, Rashmi. That's nice. Good. So just remember your water. Okay, so think about how the water lays flat. Okay, so your lines are going to be more horizontal than angled.
Okay.
Yep, but great colors. Yeah. Are you going to be doing rubbing alcohol?
I have that spray thing. Is that fine?
Yeah. You're using mineral spirits?
Yeah, I'll just tell you what I have. 1 second.
Oh, yeah, you can send me a picture and that way I know.
Yeah.
Just so I can help you. Because sometimes if people have different things, then they're like, why isn't this working right? Okay, I'm gonna, as you guys send over your pictures, I'm gonna put some, let's see. Try this, try that. Ooh, nice, Sandra.
Oh, good.
That's gonna be fun. Pastel mat?
Yes,
Yeah. Are you gonna do a wet underpainting on it or just a dry?
just the dry. I'm using pan pastels. I
Yeah.
don't like using.
Oh, I've never done pan pastel.
They're fantastic for underpainting.
Really?
I mean, some people paint like the whole thing with it, but I find that it's not as vibrant as the sticks. So,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
but it's I love it for underpainting, and because you can use sponges, so it goes much faster.
Ah, okay. Artist fixative. Oh, okay. So I would just do water, or do you have mineral spirits like Gamsol?
Yes, I have Gamsol.
Or okay, yeah, you'll want to use that.
So just Gamsol, like I don't have to dilute it or anything, right? Just
No, you don't have to. The fixative is something like, let's say you lay in a layer, and then you kind of used up too much of the tooth, you feel like, and you want to add some more texture. You'll spray it, and it will darken a little bit, but then you can continue to lay on more pastel.
okay.
It's like hairspray. It fixes everything there. So it wouldn't let you blend, and that's really what we want to do with the paint or the pastel right now, is we want to wet it and blend and make it like paint into our paper. Yeah. I'm glad
So
you
this one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it will take a few minutes to dry.
So I just take it with like I just use a brush and put it on the
Yeah.
Like that.
So this is my little yogurt jar. And you can use any brush. I happen to have a fan brush. That's what I'm going to use, but you can use any brush to use it. And we're going to start out with our lightest lights. And I do that because we really want to preserve those lights. And sometimes it gets a little bit too murky if we're mixing the dark with the light. And so sometimes it's okay and you don't care about that. Generally, I like to keep my my rubbing alcohol clean as long as I can.
Okay.
So yeah, let me see if anyone else has sent in pictures. Yeah, well, nice. And that looks good. Good colors. This is going to be fun. Remember, as we move into the distance, things become flatter, right? Like clouds. As we come down to the horizon, they get flatter and flatter like pancakes. And as they move up, they get bigger and bigger. So water in front of us gets bigger and bigger. And as it goes to the back, it gets thinner and smaller. And so definitely look at your perspective right now. If you need to correct anything with your water, look at the picture and you can see how it's much bigger here in the front. And as we move to the back, you can't even see barely where that water is going to the back. So that's why we draw these lines for our banks instead of drawing the actual water. Because in our mind and in our eye, we want to draw that water the way we see it. But remember, water lays flat, and it's those banks that we want to follow rather than the water, okay? So it will help you also keep it more realistic. All right, I'm gonna move into the rubbing alcohol.
I just sent mine.
Oh, you did? Okay, let me look.
In case there are any mistakes.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead, Natalia, and bring that left right here, this left bank. See how thin it is right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look at that angle.
Okay.
And then hold your brush up to the angle where you're at, where it's kind of more like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So bring your bank up a little bit.
Okay.
On the right hand side. Do you see that?
Yeah.
See how horizontal it is? I know it's deceiving because our brain wants to do this zigzag down, but really it's almost horizontal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're connecting those edges of the banks.
Okay, thank you so
see
much.
That? Yeah. Ooh, look at Jeannie's. All right. Okay, here we go. I might need a different, I don't know if I want that brush. I think I need like let's see what I got going on here. Might be what I have. Try this maybe. Sometimes the fan brush is good and sometimes this one isn't very stiff, so it makes it kind of hard blending. Don't worry about drips. I like drips. Sometimes these water paintings are kind of fun to have those. And I'm just doing the light part of the painting. And I'm painting just like I would paint this with paint, right? Because this is essentially paint. So I'm doing strokes down for the reflection of the grass, right? Because it comes down vertical. So that's what I'm going to do with my brush. Okay. Same with this bank here. Looking at our reference photo. As we move farther back, it's horizontal strokes because it's not close and we can't see the grass. We know it's there, but we can't see it. Like blades. Okay. And don't worry if you lose some of the color, like I can tell I'm losing some of that orange and that's fine. I can come right back over it once it dries, not worried. I'm kind of pushing this area here to the left, kind of swooping up like grass, because we can really see those blades, and I like it. So I want to, you know, remind myself that's what I'm going to do right there. Come in with the tree, painting it just like a tree, right? And come in here. We've got some tree branches kind of, and we know this tree here is in front because the branch is sitting in front of this tree. So we're kind of just going to indicate that. Not worried if the paint is running off. Okay. Got some branches over here. Okay. There we go. We do have some distant little hill right in the back here that I don't mind putting in. I think it's kind of nice. So I'm just using a little bit of that paint that I had for the horizon. So okay, there we go. I know, boo. I know. I'll take a picture of this and let it dry.
Poor puppy is suffering so because you're not paying 100% attention to him.
Oh, she is such a diva. My gosh. I don't know. I thought my teenagers need a lot of attention, but I think she's way more needy. She's still this little puppy that's like, she's kind of having a hard time too, I think, because I'm back in the office full time. And then I was taking care of my dad. So, and I was working at home. So like she kind of had me, and then she had my dad, and now like everyone's kind of, the boys are here and there, but it's not the same. So she's kind of like, geez, guys. So yeah, she gets a little cranky, but I understand. I get it.
Yep, she deserves to be the center of attention.
I know. She really is a wonderful dog. I lucked out. She has her moments, but she's a good girl. Very lucky. Yes. Aren't you? Do you hear me talking about you? Yeah. Do you want to say hi to everyone? Come here. Does someone have birds? I hear birds. Or is it
I have birds
outside?
in the garden.
Oh, you do?
I have the window open.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Mm.
You're so lucky.
Yes, I love America for this, and I love Washington in particular because it's like built on top of a forest, so there's a lot of wildlife.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't feel so urban at all.
Wow. That's awesome.
Sandra, are the cherry trees in bloom? I heard some of them were starting to bloom.
It's finished already. At least mine is come and gone, and now he's putting on the leaves. But yeah, that's gorgeous when the cherry trees blossom.
They're just starting to blossom here in Portland. It's so beautiful. That'd be kind of something fun to paint, a cherry blossom tree.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun? We should
Probably
do that.
not that easy though.
No, I have found the hard way that when they look easy, they're really not easy. But yeah, wouldn't that be fun? You could make it really lifelike or abstract. That would be fun. Okay, send over your washes. Mine is almost dry. I love the drips. Nice. Good. Very nice. Well, I like to keep it lively in this class. Which I wasn't going to jump to any conclusions because I don't know if everyone heard, or if I said to everyone that my desktop totally crashed this morning right before class started. So I thought, well, this is going to be that kind of day.
Well, that's
If
what
a day's like that.
I just figured your computer crashed.
Yeah, I know. And it's an older computer. It's one of those screen with the actual computer built into the screen. And I had it worked on, and now it's got like these bubbles everywhere. And I just got this laptop, so I'm good. Get it figured out. Okay, is everyone's painting pretty good to go? Some of you have already started, that's okay. I will send you over a picture. These are just some, I know, poor Leah, she feels terrible, it's okay. I just threw some colors here that I thought would be kind of fun on the painting. Notice on my palette, I've got a pastel pencil dividing. Those colors to the right side, I thought would be kind of fun for the last colors of the brights, like the grasses and the tops. So I just threw them to the side to remind myself that's just my own organization on my palette, but certainly you guys can choose whatever you would like. But let's see, nice, Julia. Good. Good, Sandra. Okay, so let's get going. And I think I'm gonna start in the sky. You can see on my palette, I've got some nice ranges of light peaches to the blues. Okay, here we go. The top row. So if you can see the top row. And let's see here. I'm gonna start in, it kind of has some nice warmer peachy colors down in the horizon, and that warmer, this is like a peach, light peach. And I'm just going to drift some of that right into here using the side of my pastel. Just a shade lighter. And I'll take a picture of these colors. Going into kind of like a light turquoisey blue. Letting that nice warm orange kind of peek through. I like that. I'm not pressing hard at all. Just going in another shade lighter. Light blue. Okay, and just a darker blue. Remember, we can always tone in, tone it down. I'm going right over those trees, and that's okay. Not worried about it. Let me take some pictures so I can show you. And I have not blended these yet. So I'm just going to keep working. And then we're going to bring some down into the water. I just need like a shade darker peach. Peachy orange. This is what I'm dragging down into the water, and I'll show you what I had. Remember, it's a little bit darker in color, and I'm going to show you the sky and then the water. So you can see the change in value and in temperature. So the stick to the left is what I did up in the sky, and the stick to the right in the picture is what I brought down into the water. And I'm going to do the same, right? As I'm moving into the blue, I'm going to bring a little bit of a darker blue down into the water. So just drag it like this.
And you're bringing it in vertically, right?
I'm doing vertical right now, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, right at the end, we'll kind of push it this way. So, okay, I'll take a picture. And I may bring in even some more of that dark blue at the top. It's kind of nice too. So I know these kind of look almost the same, the left to the middle. They're just a shade darker as I move to the right here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of that blue. Okay. Let's go back into, does anyone have any questions so far? I'll come back in and make more of the sky, but I feel like I need to get the trees and the darker areas in before I can kind of adjust the sky. So let's go into these trees. And before we add the green, I'm going to add a little bit more purple. So I've got a dark purple. And I'm going to come in here on its side and just indicate where the grass is going up and down vertical. Okay. Again, over here. We'll build on top of this. And a little bit out here. And a little bit there. Only on the right side of the tree, because that's really where it's the darkest, right? Okay, And let's do like add some more bright color in there. It's the same value, right? We can layer the same values. There we go. So I'm adding these two into the trees before I add the greens. I'm just gonna drift some in a little bit. Some over in the grasses. A little bit here. Okay.
Are you putting those purples and reds everywhere, Marie? On all the trees or just on the ones at the front?
Just the ones in the front, yeah. As we move back, it gets lighter in value. And I know that these are dark right now, but we're gonna come in with a lighter value to push those back. So as we move back on the plains, they're going to get lighter and cooler. And so it's more dark and vibrant and more detailed in the foreground. So I'm putting heavier, deeper colors, good question, in the foreground, and I'm gonna layer. Now, like I put some of this over here. Well, it is really in shadow. And I think that having these two colors here and laying a cool green over the top is really gonna make it rich. So I decided to add some of that red into there. And so see how the value is much lighter on this green tree. So, and it's warmer. So we're gonna want warmer because we know the sun is hitting it. So maybe even like this bright red. We could lay in here. I'm just kind of testing out some greens here. And I'll take a picture of it so you can see the differences. And I like doing this too, because that way you can see which is muted, warmer, cooler. I mean, there's all sorts of different greens here. More yellow. Getting lighter and lighter. Let's see. That's kind of a deep green. Light green. Even a bluer green. Okay. So look at all the ranges of greens. And I laid them out in order as I laid it onto the side. So now when we're looking into our painting, we can kind of say, okay, where do we want to start? Well, we know the warmer greens are going to be off to the right, warmer grasses and greens on the trees. and a little bit more cooler on the left-hand side. So let's go ahead and start with that tree in the background. I think I'm going to lay in this cool green, and I'm going to just lay it right over that purple in that tree. Just little light marks, and then take this lighter green at the top of what I sent you, and then kind of come in where that sun's hitting it, and just kind of touch it like that. And I'll send you a picture. Okay. Coming into the tree in front of it, we've got this really nice red, and I'm going to take this middle value, it's warm green, and I'm going to come over that red. Very light.
Okay.
Just on its side. Drift some down in here. Okay. I'm going to take this warmer green, but it's darker, and I'm going to kind of drift some in on the edges here. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to stop, and I'll have you send in what you have so far. Take some of this down into here. Probably bring some up in here to the grasses. It's kind of a nice green. Okay. So go ahead and send over, or if you have any questions. I've got some of this dark purple that we kind of lost our reflections of the grass. So I'm just going to kind of bring that down in here. Holding it horizontal and coming into the bank and then just dragging down. It's a new pastel. Don't worry about covering over the water that you put in. We'll get that back.
This is a purple?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, and I kind of want to get some of that orange back in there. Warm it up a little bit.
Looks a bit odd. Mine.
And I'm just kind of pulling down those grasses. Okay. See what colors, because we're gonna put in some dirt.
What color did you use for the reflections?
Yes, so the reflection was these four. Take a picture.
Sorry, missed that somehow.
You're okay. It was probably right when we all got disconnected. Hopefully you can see.
Okay, see, thank you.
Yeah, and I kind of just followed how I laid it on the sky, right? So it's reflecting what's up in the sky. And so but it's just a shade darker. And I'm just kind of thinking about what I want to lay in for our dirt and our grass. And so I'm just kind of putting out some browns here to see where we're at. So lighter in the background. I know that there's shadows and that's okay, but we want to get the lighter the color and value and duller recedes. So I think what I'm going to use is this middle, it's kind of like a flesh tone. Let me lay out, let me send you, oops, wrong way. Okay. Here we go. I did a test strip of my browns and yellows. And so what are we going to do? We are going to do a light. So it's the third one in on the top row is what I'm going to use to kind of come in here on the back and establish this land mass. And I'm using strokes, horizontal strokes, okay? Because it's in the back. Once we move kind of the forward, then I'm going to be using vertical strokes. But for right now, it's like that. And then I'm going to go lighter. And I want more of a golden. Right? It's getting warmer on this side. A little bit here. And then cooler. Is this the one that was? No. Might be this one. Yes. Okay. And we even have like this bright. Okay. We almost need a, let me take a picture so you can see. Horizontal in the very back, and as we move forward, vertical, because we're seeing the grass. Go ahead and send over where you're at so I can see. And I think it's just the, okay. Let's, yeah, let me see. Nice. Good. I love it. Good, Jeannie. So go ahead and now you can drag some of your darker colors right into the water. See that bank? Go ahead and bring in some of those reflections right in here.
Yeah,
Just be able to drift it right down into the water, just like that.
okay.
And over here, because these are going to be our reflections. That looks great.
Thanks.
Good, Sandra. So just remember, as we move into the back, your opening for your water is going to be smaller. So bring that left bank. So you want to bring it the corner
Closer to-
here. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So bring it more at an angle. So your opening is really small and it's kind of coming over, angling towards your tree, right? Just
Okay.
very, very small opening. Yeah, good. Trees look good. So we're going to start bringing in some more grasses in the front, right in here. Good. How's everyone else doing? Let me see. But the pan pastel looks cool. Okay. Good, Will. So now what you can do with your purple in your water is take your finger and just kind of pull it down. Over here off this bank and over off this bank. Very nice. So after you're done, we've kind of lost that little distant hill, which I actually kind of liked. And I think I'm going to try to get that back in there. You see it off to the left of the
No, then go, then come.
tree here. This is just kind of a muted blue. And I may even lighten that. So I'm going to come back up to my sky. Does anyone have any more questions?
Yes, when we're at the hill at the end, in front of the hill, are there trees?
I don't think so. I think this
Okay.
is the morning mist kind of coming and covering that part of the hills. So I'm going to paint it like that. And so I'm just kind of taking that peachy color that we were using earlier when we started with the sky. And I'm just coming back in now and really blending more. And coming in and carving into the tree using the edge of my pastel. And it's okay, we haven't finished this tree, but I'm just carving in more. And so this is too light for that sky hole. They got to be a little bit darker because the filter. Yeah. Whoops. Got to clean my hand. Let me clean my hand here. Okay. Kind of lost that line. It's just a blue, light blue. Kind of tapping it so it's not too bright. Lost my horizon a little bit. Okay. Light blue. I'm gonna come in with my really light peach. This is morning time, the sun's coming up. And come over here and go back to my light blue. And I'm going to come right into my dark blue. Let me see. Good. Nice, Rashmish. That's very nice. So now you can start adding some really light blues up into the sky over that yellow, just like what you started. That will look really nice. So really start covering over a little bit and let some of that yellow peek through.
Should it be horizontal stroke?
Is it hard to do that?
No, but which way should it be? Horizontal or vertical?
For the sky?
Yes.
Oh, mainly horizontal. I tend to do horizontal or to an angle. So let's say I have some clouds and I see that. So I'm going to go in the direction of that subject. If I see clouds going this way, I'm going to be pulling my pastel that way. Good question. And so it's kind of like the atmosphere is very moody, right? It seems like the clouds are kind of, it's like a morning, misty, foggy. And so I'm not going to have any hard lines. I'm going to have soft, nice transitions. And so I'm very lightly going over the dark blue and just blending with my pastel and just, you know, coming in here, and I'm going to use that dark blue again. Wrong one. It's a little too dark or too light. Oops. Just come in here and carve out my tree. You can use your finger too if you need to. It's not going to hurt. Very nice. Okay. So I'm going to show you. soon as you guys are done with the sky, let me know, because then we can move into the water. But before I show you how to do the water, and you can use your finger to blend. I try not to. I'm letting some of this underpainting show through because it's pretty. Good. Okay, so Sandra, I love you did a great job with those back mountains. Let's close that opening though in the back of your marsh. Let's make it smaller.
Okay.
So the way you can do that is you're gonna do, and I'm gonna do this real quick so I can send it to you.
Closing it from the right, I think would be better, right? Bringing the right bank towards the left.
Yeah, you could do that. Here, hold on, let me see if I can edit the photo here. Okay. So like this, and then you have this coming. Okay. I'm gonna send it to you.
Thank you.
It's easier to sometimes do it this way.
Okay.
So see
In
how,
fact, bring the left.
yeah, so see, and even keeping that left even more horizontal if you can't, but either way, that's gonna make it more believable. So all you need to do is to the left of those red lines is bring your bank up to that, and that will fix it right away. So use your bank colors and just go right over that blue, right up to those lines in that direction, and it'll fix it right away. Very nice. Because see, I haven't even put in any of my water yet. It's all about doing our banks, right? Horizontal bands. Okay, so I'm gonna go in to my water and I'm gonna kind of show you how to do this, okay? So I'm gonna start from the left to right. And the sky is lighter on the left to the darker blue. So that's how I'm going to proceed on here. And I'm gonna take the side of the pastel and I'm gonna go horizontal, okay?
Marie, are you just going right over those shadows, or are you leaving a little in there, the reflection of the reeds?
I'm going right over some of those shadows.
Cool.
Yes, good question. And then I'm gonna go from that peachy color whoop, drop that, to a mid-tone blue, and then I'm gonna go even to a lighter. Horizontal. Hey. Because water lays flat, so.
So that was a kind of like a really goldy color, is that right? In the front of the water?
Yep, it's, and then let me take a picture here. And I will hold the colors that I just used. So I went from this peachy to the blue to then the light blue. And I'm gonna even be lighter blue as we move to the very back, right? Because it's getting cooler. Almost like a turquoise, a light turquoise.
Thank you.
And that was vertical, right?
Yep,
Thank you.
go vertical. That's right.
Sorry, I
Or
could rescue.
horizontal. Sorry, horizontal for the actual marsh water. Sorry. We started out vertical and then now we're going horizontal.
Okay.
Yep. And the reason for that is because we wanted to get the blending and in the marsh portion of it. And so what we do is we're going to bring the water over and then bring the reflection over that water and kind of break it up. And I'm just using my finger here. Okay. Okay. The last part is you can draw these little light blue little bands like this across the water to indicate moving water, right? And then kind of break it up with your finger. And you kind of you can do it at angles just like this. And I'll show you what it looks like. So just by doing just little horizontal. Okay. Let's get some of these trees and the grasses in. So almost like this. I'm just going to start in on this tree a little bit. Just a warmer, lighter in value green, and I'm just drifting it a little bit on this tree. Because what I'm trying to do now is set the stage to have it show that this is a different plane than this plane with these branches coming in. So let me take a picture of this green.
Mm.
And almost like a, is that it? Kind of a lighter than that. Come in here. Add that nice warm green. Okay. Maybe even some over here. Maybe even some right on the edge. We know that the sun's kind of highlighting that. So this is the yellow green I added on top of the trees. And I kind of added some over onto this other tree. And I'll come back over with that cooler green. And just bring some of that green right over that bright yellow. Okay. I think I'm going to use some of that green down in here for the branches. Right, because they kind of come up into here, out here. Okay. So see how I'm building the trees as they move back? And even like a warmer turquoise on that far tree, we could even do that. see. And then come back in. My blue new pastel. And kind of get back underneath there with that let's say, okay, here is a little sky hole. And then bring my light. Like that. Okay. So I went in and kind of adjusted my tree here in the back. I kind of lost its shape. So now we're going to come in on this branch, these trees here, layer just a few more greens. And then do kind of like a army green almost. I'm going to come in right on the edges of these branches. Just kind of touch them just a little bit. And I may need to go a shade darker. I might bring some of that green over in here too. Okay, so let's get some of this green grass. So I'm gonna go in with cooler on the left-hand side, right? And I'm going to look at probably something like this. And I'm just going to go right over the top of the dirt, light, let it shine through, and just kind of vertically I want to preserve that really bright piece shining through. I like that. I'm just going to use a little bit back in here. Not too much. Bring some of that down in here. The grasses. Okay. And then we're going to go warmer on that grass over here. And it's all, I mean, that color isn't too bad actually, but I do a lighter color here. up maybe even this green. Going up and down vertically. And I've got this dark green new pastel. I'm gonna kind of come along here, this bank, and then darken it just a little bit. Kind of lost my bank there. Kind of come in here too. Reestablish that bank. And then back and forth, back and forth. Let's see here. Some lighter green. Okay. And even some light green right here on the edge of these trees. Just to highlight them a little bit. Okay. How are we doing for time? Okay. We'll come in with a little bit more. Kind of adding a little bit more purple down into this bank. Kind of break up that green. And then I'll come in with my water. Was this the color? No, that wasn't. Maybe it was this. Hey. I'm just adding a little more. Oops. Coming back in with my blue here. And then my dark blue. Horizontal. All right, let's see where everyone's at here. Hey, stop. Nice, Jeannie. Good. So just on the right hand side, you can just kind of drift in a little bit more like mark making, right? Of the pastels, kind of indicating some limbs right over some of like your tree, your lighter tree area, just to break it up.
Okay.
I love the purple. Yeah,
you.
the purple really, it just makes it so nice. Your
Thank
sky's,
you.
yeah, and your sky's beautiful.
Thank you.
Much better, Sandra. Much better. Good job. That looks really good.
Don't
Hi,
say
Katie.
this.
I hear you.
He wants to go out in the garden, but he's not allowed because he skates.
Oh no. Not, oh, Molly, get out of there. Good grief. No, you can't have that. Nice, well, good. So, yeah, very good use on values. And the water looks much better as see how it recedes. Very good. So you can even add some darker greens in the foreground. And I like how you did the grass. Very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice. These are really great. It's fun. I like marshes. And this is a good one just to try out different palettes of colors, right? You could try doing it all in purple or blue, like monochromatic. Kind of turn the wire, that grass kind of indicated it's a little bit above this bank. I'm just kind of doing this. Even some. Hey, Molly. Molly, come on. Come on. Nice. That's great, Rashmi. That's beautiful. Very nice. Good job.
Beautiful
you.
colors.
Yeah, I love the yellow up in the sky with the blue. Very good. Very good.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're getting the idea of what you need to do and where it goes, right? And
Yep.
and so how you're layering your colors as it gets lighter and cooler, and
Mhm.
I see that. I can see the difference. Hey,
Thanks.
very nice. Hey. This is one where I could mess with the tree all day. So I might just leave it alone. It's funny. I'm just adding a little more warmth on this tree. Molly.
Sorry, that's
I hear you. Then we have like darker color, right? So I'm just adding in the water in these reeds, and I'm doing it in a kind of darker orange. And then I'll come back over it with my hard pastel. And so it looks like it's coming up out of the water. Now, if I did like a really white, like I did up into the sky, it wouldn't look right. It would pop out. Remember how we talked about sky holes being a darker? That's kind of how you want to think about the water when you're coming in between these reeds. I know, Molly, we're almost done. You being a good girl. And so it's just back and forth, you know, of coming over that water. I like the hard pastels too because they kind of have that nice edge. And I'm doing way more vibrancy here in the front with these reeds. Using the edge. Directing it the way I want. And I may have to kind of work this a little more here. There we go.
Is it too unblended on the right? No.
It's not really that it's not blended. It's just that each one is the same size. So what I would suggest doing is bringing some of that dark green and kind of coming out and pushing up into the center of those bands a little bit. So for example, here's your, let's say your dark green like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your branches, and then you have like a lighter green on top, right here. What I suggest doing is taking your darker green and coming and just coming up like this and closing some of those gaps.
Okay.
And so see how it's just, so you have just a little bit of that, the light green kind of coming through. You can indicate there's a branch, but you're kind of filling in those gaps, and then you come back in with that the grass if you need to create those little holes. So it's kind of back and forth. But yeah, you don't want it to be too much like fingers, right? To kind of have them go in a little different direction. But yeah, very nice, very nice. All of your values, especially your trees and your sky. I love the grasses. Very nice. I'll send over here. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Everyone want to send over before class is done here. Yeah, much better. Good. And And now you can come back with your light pastel if you'd like, and then do this kind of the same thing, and do a directional, so you can vary your direction on the end of those branches. So like, see how we've got it going like this, and we've got some coming up like this. We've got some kind of coming over here, kind of over here. And so I'm using the edge of the pastel and I'm turning it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pushing up and kind of coming up here and up here. So see, so you could do that same thing on top of your green now. You can kind of come up and bring one of those limbs kind of drooped over, maybe one kind of coming up this way, right over your dark green. And it gives it that layering and illusion of an actual tree. Nice. Good, Sandra. That's beautiful. I love it. You can even add a little bit more blue up in the sky if you want behind your tree, just to add. But I love it how it is. It's very, very nice. Yes, Natalia, that's beautiful. Very nice. I love the texture. Your sky is awesome.
Thank you. I still feel it's a bit, I don't know.
So the way you can connect your sky to your water is bring some more of that pink down in there. So see where your turquoise and your blue come down the marsh to the left, where you have kind of more of the yellow, bring in some of that pink.
Okay, we'll try that.
Yeah, bring some of the pink and then fill in over your orange to the left with some more green.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good. So now all you have to do, Will, is just with your finger a little bit, bring some of those reflections just a little bit down into the water, and then come back in with your bands like you did, just a little bit. But other than that, very nice.
I struggled a bit with those trees on the right-hand side.
On the right-hand side, yeah. It's kind of hard because we have like two trees, and the one that's closest to us, it's like we're getting a little side view of it. So what you want to do is take your middle tree and pull that light green all the way up into the top, and then take your dark tree, and you're going to want to come right over that light part like this. And what that's going to do is it's going to push this forward and this back.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. Thank you.
Yep. Good. Yes. Good. Good, Rashmi. That is beautiful. Good. Great. Good job. And it just to throw out there, if you want, you can bring some of your grasses and make them, you can use the edge of your hard pastel and just kind of bring them like this. And if you bring them kind of over this plane, it also suggests to the viewer that this is in front of this, right? So just bring those fun grasses out right like that, and it will really help bring that, and then it will push this back.
Got it.
Yeah, great. Yep, like I need to take my own advice. I kind of lost my grasses too, but good job, everyone. Good job. Oh, and of course, my dog decides to lay down right now when class is over. She finally gave up. Let me see. Yes. Good, Julia. So the only critique that I would have is go ahead and maybe put in just a little bit of that green on your right hand side over here, take some of that and bring like a band or two out here in the back on the left. And what that will do is it will take the right side of your painting and connect to the left side.
Okay, and are you talking about the light green on the front?
Yeah,
On the
so I'm
right?
talking, yep, so right here,
Yeah, that one. Okay.
yep, and then just kind of drift some right into here. And I know it looks dark, but what will happen is this will flow to here. So it's gonna, you know, that directional piece too. So it will tie both sides.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's better already.
Yeah, good job. See how that helped with the grass? Yeah, much better. Excellent, guys. Very, very well done. Well, time to sign off, you guys.
That was lovely. That was
Good job.
amazing. Really
Good
hard.
job.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, good job.
It was amazing. As always.
Oh, this is fun. It's like I haven't painted marshes for a really long time, so it was fun for me too. I enjoy it, and I'll play around with this. This is a really good composition to actually make more paintings, and I'd even try cropping out this tree on the right hand side maybe, and you know, maybe directing the water a different way. That's the beauty of art, is you can kind of adjust that. So try it out, see if you like it better. So good job, everyone. I'm going to end the recording. And if you want to watch this, obviously, I think we're going to have 2 recordings. So just be aware of that. Happy Easter. Everyone have a great week. And we'll see
You too.
you next Sunday.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Mary. Bye, guys.
Bye.